This weekend on CCX News, the new approach to mental health response. How Brooklyn Park police say a change in response to certain 911 calls is making a difference. About 1 in 5 Americans have a mental illness, and sometimes that can lead to a 911 call for help. A special Brooklyn Park police unit has been responding to those calls for more than a year. Reporter Kevin Miller explains how it's working.
Here in the front we have,
for Brooklyn Park's alternative response team,
notebooks and things that we need. We have tissue, very important supply for a social worker.
This van can function as a mobile field office.
We have naloxone kits, so if people are overdosing on medications, on opioids, we can give them naloxone.
From the outside, the van appears more soccer mom than emergency response.
A step stool to help people get in.
And that's on purpose.
We'll go as a team, get in the van, and go try and make somebody's bad day better. We don't want to look like somebody else. We don't want to look like the police department. We don't want to look like the ambulance, because we're not.
This non-traditional vehicle is part of a larger non-traditional approach to answering 911 calls.
My priority is to respond to calls related to mental health, to substance abuse, homelessness, other social service needs.
The team has an office in the police station but handles 911 calls differently than the rest of the police. They send a social worker and a community paramedic to calls.
Our goal is, as much as we can, go out and resolve somebody's problem so that they don't have to keep calling 911.
Hennepin County social worker Nils Dybvig says his work is steady.
I heard that we took 800 calls in our first year. Over 800 calls. So, yeah, we've been pretty busy.
So busy, in fact.
5104, okay, he's an adult, but it sounds like he may have some mental health issues, and he said his parents are threatening him.
That a call came in as we were interviewing Brooklyn Park Police Inspector Elliot Faust.
ART call. 5104 en route.
He says the alternative response team helps free police officers to focus on crime.
They can move on to other things that are more in the wheelhouse for the officer's skill set.
Police are leaning more on this team for help.
It did not take long for the officers to realize the benefit of having these folks to assist them or to take over the call in certain circumstances. They're just better equipped to deal with these type of things.
The van unlocked.
Police say this boils down to better outcomes and a drop in mental health calls.
It makes total sense why there would be a decrease. It's because things are getting resolved where they weren't ever getting resolved before. So that's a huge win. I mean, that's a huge success, and we're seeing it early on.
In Brooklyn Park, Kevin Miller, CCX News.
A Brooklyn Park City Council vote drew a standing ovation this past week. Labor union workers wearing orange shirts showed up to support a city council vote approving a prevailing wage ordinance. A prevailing wage sets wages and benefits based on market conditions for publicly funded projects. While some point out it has the potential to increase the cost of projects by 10 to 20%, Councilmember Tony McGarvey pointed to studies saying that's not the case.
The reality is prevailing wage laws foster middle-class careers that attract talented young workers to the construction trade, which is especially important now as the baby boomers begin to retire or continue to retire at $12,000 a day.
Meanwhile, an affordable housing project in Brooklyn Park will require a prevailing wage. Decatur Landing will provide 350 units of affordable housing at the southwest corner of Highways 169 and 610. It will have 2 5-story buildings built in phases. The city requires a prevailing wage for the second phase. A prominent spot along Main Street in Maple Grove now has new life. This weekend, Delane Cleveland takes us inside the new Broadway Pizza, which has something unlike any other location you'll see in the Twin Cities.
After a 2-year absence,
I think it's great.
One of Minnesota's most beloved pizza chains has returned to Maple Grove.
It's delicious, and we love the spaghetti too.
This new venue on Main Street marks a return for the Broadway Pizza name after a former location on Elm Creek Boulevard closed 2 years ago.
For us, it was super exciting to bring it back.
Matt Polkamp is the general manager, and he says when they acquired this space, they completely gutted the inside.
Those who have been to the Claddagh, who came to Max's on Main, they knew what it looked like. It was dark, it was dungy. It really still had that Irish pub feel even when it was Max's on Main.
Their goal was to open the space up and give it more of a neighborhood bar kind of feel, where people could bring their families and enjoy one of their signature thin crust, square cut pizzas.
Our Classic Deluxe is our #1 pizza. It comes with pepperoni, sausage, mushrooms, onions, and green peppers. By far our best selling pizza we have.
While this is certainly a great place to enjoy some food and drinks and watch the game,
you're gonna grab it like this, you're gonna rock it back and forth, and take it out.
this location has a little something extra.
When you bring it back, bring it all the way back.
Under the same roof is Broad Axe axe throwing. A dedicated axe master walks participants through how it all works.
Make sure you have your axe up, 90-degree angle.
And teaches them proper throwing techniques to enhance the experience.
Almost had it.
It's really creating that atmosphere of something just to do. We have the axe throwing, we'll have sports playing, we have just a little bit of everything for everybody.
This venue has experienced its fair share of turnover the last 5 years, but folks here are confident that this new Broadway Pizza has staying power.
So yeah, everybody's very excited about it.
Budding gardeners can get a free start thanks to one Maple Grove resident. Avid gardener Amber Olson has a little free seed library in her yard. Her family was inspired by little free libraries in the area, and she hopes this version will inspire more people to grow their own food.
Because growing food locally is one of the biggest things you can do to impact a global food system, basically as far as resources and energy consumption and waste and all those things.
The box has seeds of all kinds to grow your own produce and flowers too. You can find the seed and book library at 9225 Ives Lane North in Maple Grove.
We have some very strong high school distance runners in the area in cross country and track. This week's CCX Sports Spotlight highlights an Osseo standout. He just loves running. As Osseo senior Cade Sanvik wraps up his 6th season of high school track and 6 seasons of cross country, he's evolved into an elite middle distance runner. He's put in many miles for sure, 300 last summer alone, but it's about more than that.
Yeah, 100%. I really work on my diet. I do a lot of hip strength and glute strength pretty much every day, and same with core. Drinking a lot of water, getting that water intake in. Good rest is probably #1, going to bed early and having a good routine.
You know, when he joined us in 7th grade, you could see the skill set. Early on, he used to do little road races in the community, and you just see him take care of business there. And he was running varsity for us, as a 7th grader. And so there is a full natural talent that took him a long ways, but he's really had to switch over here the last couple of years now to that mental piece, but also just having to put the work in.
Like most distance runners in high school, Sanvik runs trails and golf courses in the fall cross-country season and circles the track in the spring.
Oh man, there's a big debate out there with distance runners on who likes cross-country or track more. It ebbs and flows for me. Some days I love cross-country because you're just out doing your own thing, and the races you're all by yourself, there's no one around you. It kind of calms you a little bit. But the track, I love running fast. I love the speed work. I don't know, it's probably 50-50.
Cade's become a leader for the distance crew at Osseo, more by actions than words.
He's never been one to take shortcuts. He likes putting the workouts in. He loves coming off the track and said, man, that was one sweet workout. I love that one. And for Cade, yeah, he's a doer. He's not gonna be the one that's gonna get in other kids' faces and say, you must do this or that. He's one that kids go ahead and they just look at Cade, and that's your answer to what you need to be doing in that moment.
And his running journey has led to many friendships within his Osseo team and with competitors.
I've made a lot of friends actually from other schools. Just after a race, I'll go up to him and be like, man, good job, or you did great. Yeah, you can make some good friends by being competitive, and I think track and cross country, there's a lot of, everyone's friendly. Everyone kind of just loves the sport and loves running, and yeah, it builds a good community.
Sanvik set to run in college and study agriculture in a neighboring state.
I'm going to South Dakota State University. Probably what led to it was it's a very small campus. The community is right there. The team was just really uplifting and good and very talented. So, and the coach, Rod DeHaven, is a really good guy, and I think he knows a lot about running. So,
while cross country is more straightforward, there are choices to be made as to which races to run in track. As he heads down the home stretch of his high school career, Cade's made his choices for postseason meets.
I have to whittle it down, unfortunately. I'll be doing the 4x8 and open 8 and 4x4 at sections, hopefully getting to state in all 3 of them. I'm definitely going to miss a huge opportunity to race in that mile at state, but you know, I had to choose the 4x8 because the 4x8 gives you more rest time for the 800, and I'm trying to go for the state title in the 800.
For the CCX Sports Spotlight, I'm Jay Wilcox.
Find more prep sports games and highlights at ccxmedia.org and follow us on social media.